What's going on, everyone? Do you remember when Kevin Durant wanted to be traded from the Brooklyn Nets? That whole drama that unfolded, all the craziness and madness? Because I do. I remember that. I remember when Kevin Durant finally decided to stay, at least write it out for now. And there's a lot of questions of, will this get picked back up at the trade deadline? Will this get picked back up next season? Will the Brooklyn Nets implode? Because that is a really big possibility. You got three stars that are arguably the most fragile stars in the entire league. And it's just going to be one bad day before all this chaos unfolds again. And Kevin Durant being in Brooklyn, ultimately we know it's not a place that he really wants to be in. And a lot of questions are, can he lead a team, right? On paper, Brooklyn has, in my opinion, probably the best team in the league. I mean, and they are a legit contender. And I wouldn't be shocked if they won the championship this year. It's just so much needs to go into this. And the NBA, especially come playoff time and stuff like that, so much of that is mental, right? You have to have that mental stability, that mental strength to really carry through an 82-game season and then a playoffs to win a championship. That's why you see some of the most mentally tough teams win it every year, like teams like the Warriors, stuff like that. And I just don't know if Brooklyn has that mental toughness. Everything is going to be put under a microscope and amplified in ways that have probably never been done before. You know, like any little thing that happens with Brooklyn is just going to get a light shined on it. And even just like the little things that like just happen to all teams, you know, a little spat in the locker room or something like that, because these are competitive guys, that's going to be blown way out of proportion. Like some of those things don't even get talked about. But when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, that stuff is going to be, look, they're imploding. Look, Kevin Durant's going to want to be traded again, this, that, and the other. But one of the good places that Kevin Durant really had stability in was the Golden State Warriors. Now, we heard all kinds of teams, right? The Raptors, the Celtics, the Warriors, the Suns, things like that. But thanks to Steph Curry, we got information that the Golden State Warriors actually really considered trading for Kevin Durant again, and they would have been more than happy to welcome him back, which I thought was the best destination. I thought that was the most likely place for Kevin Durant. Now, would Kevin Durant want to go there again? I mean, I don't know. A lot of people feel no, it wouldn't have happened, this, that, and the other. But according to Steph, he said that they were at least talking about it, exploring it, and that everybody would have welcomed him back. Now, we even got the reports that Steph and Draymond and all of them called KD and, were trying to talk to him and say, hey, like, what would you think about coming back? And I think that would have been the best option for Kevin Durant, because what Kevin Durant had in Golden State is something he's been searching for his whole career, and that's just being able to play basketball and not have to worry about anything else. The Warriors have the structure, the culture, the coaching, the players, the everything. I mean, there's a reason Golden State was essentially unbeatable. It literally took the entire team falling apart, from Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, Steph, Draymond. Like, it took literally everybody falling apart for them to get beaten. I mean, Draymond himself said, like, we have never been beat when we're all healthy. And guess what? He was right. They won a championship. Now, you add Kevin Durant to that. I mean, this team is unbeatable. And very likely they would have won more championships if Kevin Durant went back to the Warriors. It's a perfect place for him, because he doesn't have to be the face as he would to like another team like OKC or like Brooklyn. He doesn't have to deal with all the ins and outs. He can just show up and play basketball and just be another player on the Warriors. And that's something he wouldn't have anywhere else. Phoenix, Boston, anything like that. They're going to demand and expect so much out of him. Where Kevin Durant he kind of just becomes another guy on the Warriors, because they have guys like Steph and Klay and Draymond that are bigger than life. And so Kevin Durant being able to be on the Warriors, he doesn't have to completely take over games night in and night out. He can, and he has, and, he won finals MVP and stuff like that, but he doesn't have to. He has guys that can do a lot and carry a lot of the load. He has coaching that is going to put him in the best position possible, that's going to be able to distract. He literally just gets to just hoop. He doesn't have to worry about nothing. And even if he went back, of course, there would be the talks and, the media and everything like that, but it would have been nowhere near what it was when he first went to the Warriors, right? It wouldn't be. You probably have like a month or so of just the KD talk, and then everyone would go on with business as usual, and no one would really care, because it's something we've already seen before, and it wouldn't have been as big of news as many others would have thought. Like if he went to the Celtics or something like that, I think it would have been much bigger from a media standpoint, stuff like what's going to happen, or him and Tatum. Like, you're going to have this talk and this narrative probably the entire season. But if you went to a team like the Warriors, we've already seen that movie. Like, we already know what the result's likely going to be. It's probably going to be championships. Warrior fans would probably be happy. Like, they won without him. So, like, it's not like, people can talk and say, none of the conversation's going to be about the Warriors. It's all going to be about Kevin Durant. And how long is that going to last? How long is that going to carry legs? I just don't see that. I think that he comes in, he doesn't have to have the load. I do. I think however you shake it, the Warriors were the best destination for Kevin Durant and still very well might be. Again, who knows what happens at the trade deadline? Who knows what happens, this upcoming offseason? The Warriors have to make all kinds of decisions, right? Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole. What are they going to do with some of these young guys? Some of these other young guys, Kuminga, Wiseman, guys like that. They're going to be due contracts soon, Like, there's a lot. So do the Warriors decide, like, hey, instead of paying 10 guys, let's unload a Wiggins and Jordan Poole for Kevin Durant. Throw in some draft picks, stuff like that. Maybe you throw in like a Wiseman or a Kuminga or something and just really get the ball rolling. Ultimately the Warriors decided not to go trade for Kevin Durant. We even heard Joe Lacob come out and say, like, yeah, it's not going to happen. The asking price, a lot of it I think had to do with the asking price. Brooklyn just wanted so much, and it's like, are we really going to give up like half of our team and picks just to get Kevin Durant? Yeah, we probably win, but we saw what happened. Injuries are a real thing. Clay, he's kind of still up in the air. He wasn't 100%. Like, is this offseason going to be enough time for him to get back to that? Like, there's a lot of questions, but the biggest question, again, is still, like, the Warriors are going to have to make tough decisions. Andrew Wiggins does a lot more for this Warriors team than Jordan Poole does. Jordan Poole, I'm not saying that Jordan Poole isn't a better player. I'm not saying anything like that. But the Warriors don't have a problem scoring, right? They have Steph. They have Clay. They have plenty of guys that could put the ball in the hoop. Andrew Wiggins, what he provides is that defense, that fourth option in many ways. The guy that understands his role, that is willing to come in, that doesn't care about being a star. Like, it's not a coincidence Andrew Wiggins, like, reinvented his career when he went to the Warriors. Because just like Kevin Durant, you don't have that pressure. You get to be the third, fourth, fifth guy. Like, so all you have to do is just come in and know your role, understand your role, play some solid defense, knock down some shots when you get an opportunity. Just play the game of basketball, right? And a guy like Jordan Poole, he's young, he's hungry, he's great, he's talented. He's going to want to be the guy at some point. But right now, he's a defensive liability. And we saw when his shot isn't falling, he's a huge liability. There were times where Steve Kerr just had to take him out because he's turning the ball over, he's not making right plays, because he's still young, he's developing, he's growing. He just became just a lights-out shooter out of nowhere. And so if you're the Warriors, do you look at it as like, we need Wiggins more? So do we let Poole go and maybe, put a package around Jordan Poole and maybe go get a Kevin Durant? Or do you unload both of them where you're like, we get everything that Andrew Wiggins gives you and we get everything that Jordan Poole gives you all wrapped into one player? Like, Kevin Durant is essentially Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole in one. So do we unload both of these guys and go get a Kevin Durant? Like, that was a thought process. That was something that was toyed around. That was something that they actually thought about potentially doing, because you do get that. And you'd still have, Kuminga and Moody and, Wiseman, and a lot of these young guys that you can kind of integrate into your team. And Kevin Looney and things like that. You're good. You're in a good position. You know what you're going to get with Kevin Durant. You know that you're probably winning another championship or two. So, is that worth it? I wouldn't be shocked if Golden State explores this again later on down the line. Not saying they will, not saying they should, but I wouldn't be shocked if, 6 months from now, a year from now, it's like the Warriors and the Nets are in discussions on something, and maybe you work out like a sign and trade deal, or, whatever. You extend Jordan Poole, and then you get the trade done after, the 2 months or whatever it is. I don't know. There's options, that they could explore, but the Warriors do have a lot of decisions on their hands. They need to really figure out which direction do we want to go? Do we want to just kind of ride this title window now, and go get Kevin Durant again and just kind of continue that? It's an interesting thought. And, it is interesting that Steph basically confirmed all the reports and stuff and just said, yeah, hey, like we did talk about it. We did toy with it, talk to Kevin Durant. We would have welcomed him back if he wanted to come back. And I think it would have been the best situation for Kevin Durant. I think it would have been the best situation for the Warriors, because I think it would have solved a lot of like the offseason concerns and stuff that they're eventually going to have to address, with Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins and Draymond Green and things like that. Well, if you basically have your core four guys, what you got, the young guys, you kind of integrate into that, and hopefully they're good enough to come in and compete, this, that, and the other. I don't know. I think regardless, the Warriors are in a good spot regardless, right? They just won the NBA championship. No one would be surprised if they won it again this upcoming year. So not like the Warriors need Kevin Durant. And I do think Kevin Durant needs the Warriors more than, the Warriors need Kevin Durant. But I just think it would have been a good idea for both sides. I do. I really do. I think it would have been something that really would have been beneficial for Kevin Durant, because again, he gets to just play basketball. He doesn't have to worry about anything else. I don't think he really wants to be in Brooklyn regardless. And that's a big thing where, not saying that he would want to be in Golden State, but I think if you let cooler heads prevail, I think he ultimately looks at it as like, that's where I was the happiest. Before the whole Draymond Green blow up and stuff like that, him talking, I was in a good place there, So anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I want to hear yours. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think that this could happen later on down the line? Are you glad it didn't happen? Or do you wish it did happen? However you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.